Over the past few days following the finalizations of Johnny Depp as the winner of the defamation suit he brought forward against his ex-wife. And while the actress has repeatedly announced that she is going to appeal the judgment that was given, but it seems like that might no longer be an option, as some game-changing news had just come out, and let's just say you're going to be shocked. So, what is this game-changing news that has come out in recent times about Amber Heard's appeal chances? If you followed the trial between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp up until the end, you'd know that Amber and her entire squad weren't exactly pleased with the outcome. And in the actress's case, she actually revealed how she felt immediately the verdict was given, as she posted a statement condemning the legal system just minutes after. As if that wasn't already demeaning enough for the parties that partook in the trial, a few hours later, her lawyer Elaine Bredehoff took the mantle and went on to attack Depp's people and even the jurors for rigging their way to the verdict. And in all of this, the judge's name was also dragged through the sand. While all of this went on, there were also talks on several occasions about Amber appealing the verdict, because she didn't even have half of the money she is supposed to pay her ex-husband. But little did she know that Judge Askerud had other plans. Let me explain what happened. So last week, all the parties directly involved in the Depp-Heard defamation case met in court for the finalization of everything related to the case. And while this is ordinarily considered a formality, as everyone already knew that due process was followed all through the case, but Amber's lawyer had other plans. While in court, Elaine tried to challenge the judgment, claiming that there were wrinkles in some of the evidence presented and that she would like to proceed with another hearing. However, the judge wasn't having any of it, and according to a reporter that was actually in the room when all of this went down, things got pretty heated.
The hearing was pretty brief. Basically what happened was there was discussion about the judgment, and this was kind of a formality, this hearing, and this was for basically the judge to enter the judgment, okay? So we had the jury's verdict. Elaine Bredehoff, the attorney for Amber Heard, asked to file some have some possible a briefing schedule or something to that effect, and she said that Judge Askerud said that's not going to be necessary. She said you basically file your briefs, file your motions, file your appeal. Elaine Bredehoff made it sound like she might want some type of hearing, and the judge, Judge Askerud, was very no-nonsense as usual, actually more no-nonsense than usual, Jesse, and she basically said, I don't need a hearing on any of this stuff. I've had this case for 18 months, and we had a 6-week trial. So she said if you have a motion, file the motion. It can be decided on the papers. Elaine Bredehoff was also wanting to address this bond that has to be filed by Amber Heard in order to appeal the case. And so she wanted to discuss that as well in a post-trial motion, I should say. And Judge Askerud basically said, well, you can address whatever you want, but you have to file the bond. And that bond would be the $8.35 million plus 6% interest per year. And the judge basically made no bones about it. If you want to appeal, you have to file that money in order to do so. So it didn't sound like Elaine Bredehoff was ready to maybe concede that point. She wants to address that in some type of motion or something, and she said she would do so. But the judge really had no time for any whatever was going on in that courtroom. I don't know how to quite explain it. She was very to the point,
I mean, if you decide to drag a judge's good name through the dirt after taking weeks of her time for the trial, she would probably not be willing to hear you anymore. And it's even worse in this case because it was public and literally everyone in the world watched things unfold, which is the reason a lot of people have now gotten attached to this whole issue. And many of them have actually been talking about it on social media. One user wrote, "So basically, as far as she is concerned, trial is over and Amica Elaine can stick to her motion, and both parties have been given instructions on appealing the verdict if they wish to do so. They can do it, but don't bother her with nonsense." Another user who seemed pretty upset with Amber's lawyer making these moves wrote, "If I were the judge, I would have walked out the moment Elaine started talking. She did an incredible job sitting through all that shit on Heard's side. Thank you, Judge." From the facts that have been revealed since that court meeting, one of which is the fact that Amber actually has to make the full amount she's supposed to pay Depp available. Coupled with the judge being sick of this whole thing, there's probably not going to be an appeal. But hey, don't take it from me. We'll just have to wait and see where things end up. Tell us, do you think Amber will still pursue the appeal even with all of these problems?